Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pete's Epic Golf Podcast. Join golfer Pete as he interviews international and local golf experts and enthusiasts. Golfer Pete's guests are looking to share how his audience can improve their golf game by improving their mindset, skill set, and gear set. We ask our experts to share their practical tips on golf in one or more of these three core areas. Golfer Pete created his podcast as a resource for anyone who loves golf. Join Golfer Pete as he asks the questions we all need answers to in order to improve our golf game.
Okay, I want to welcome our listeners to a very special podcast today. It's Ladies' Day. So everybody sometimes used to just men going out there and playing, but not today. We have Ladies' Day, and two beautiful ladies are joining us from different locations. And so we're excited about Ladies' Day. And I'm going to go to Ann first. And Ann, would you just introduce yourself and kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe what kind of work you're involved in so the listeners can have a general idea?
Sure thing. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. So
Sure.
I'm retired from computer science, computer data processing. And when my vision declined, I got rehabilitation, and then I started volunteering. Currently, I'm working with an organization called Deafblind Axis of the South, and we provide a retreat for adults who are deafblind, who have dual sensory loss. And my vision loss is fairly recent. It started when I was in my mid-50s, and so I've gotten involved in this adaptive golf program, and I'm enjoying it tremendously.
Awesome. Thank you, Ann. And right now we have Megan, who's going to introduce herself. And while Ann just said something about adaptive golf, I want to shout out to David Windsor, who introduced us and is heading up the adaptive golf for the GSGA and is doing an outstanding job. So an opportunity to shine some light on y'all is absolutely exciting. So Megan, please just introduce yourself to our audience and viewers, and so they have an idea about yourself.
Yes, thanks, Pete. And my name is Megan. I am also visually impaired, actually legally blind. Not legally blonde, although I did just lighten my hair, but legally blind. Figured you like that. I was born with glaucoma. Most people associate that in older adults, patients, but it's possible to be born with it. And fortunately, they diagnosed it pretty quickly, and I was probably weeks old when I had my first surgery, and then by the time I was 4, I had both of my corneas transplanted. But and then I lost the vision of my left eye when I was about middle school age. So basically, I have vision in my right eye now. And I used to well, actually, I'll get back to the golf, but currently I work for a call center, CarMax Auto Finance, actually.
Awesome.
And here in Kennesaw, Georgia, been there almost 16 years, have my own house, have a guide dog. He's chilling at his home at my desk right now. And I use adaptive technology in order to perform my job, a program called JAWS that reads the computer screen
Awesome.
Out loud. And with my golf experience, I used to play growing up. I had a little bit different vision then, a little bit more functional vision than I have now. But it was a daddy-daughter thing. I tell people, my sister and my dad introduced us to golf, and I took some lessons, did a little junior golf, but I was the one visually impaired, golfer, playing with the others who had full vision and, trying to adapt, but it got a little overwhelming at times, although I enjoyed trying to learn. And
Sure.
A few years ago, got reacquainted with golf. Thank you to David Windsor and the Georgia State Golf Association and some other people that I've been very fortunate to try to work with that have helped me literally get my swing back and get it just back in the game.
That's awesome, Megan. Thank you so much. So I know listeners are probably thinking, okay, visually challenged, how do you see the ball? So I'll go to Ann first. So what is your biggest challenge when it comes to, learning to play golf with, vision impairment?
The biggest challenge is wrapping my brain around the fact that I can do it.
Yep.
That's a big barrier for most of the people who I try and encourage to come out and try the game. They can't envision it. And I was kind of dragged into it, shamed into it. Like, you got to get active. I mean, sitting is the new smoking. And
yes.
I needed some physical activity. So I went out and I found out that the coaches are just so good. They can explain, where the ball went and give me the feedback I need in order to adjust my swing. They are really very talented. I'm really kudos to all of them for giving up their time and their expertise to help. So that would be that. I'd say was the biggest challenge.
Yeah, that's very enlightening because I was talking to a gentleman and he just said, well, how do they actually do golf? I mean, I said, well, just tune into the podcast and you'll see. So anyway, thank you, Ann. So Megan, how about yourself? Anything you could add to Ann's challenges, or do you have different ones?
Well, I would second what Ann said, especially for people who I've learned of people who tend to lose their vision later on. It is hard to sometimes get motivated to be active physically. I knew golf could be possible. For me, it was just, I guess, finding an outlet to get into it. And I just kind of happened into it later on, a few years ago. And then one thing led to another. And I would say, also, from the standpoint of the coaches, they are wonderful, as Ann said. It's all about communication between the golfer and the coach, and being able to articulate what you need, or what level of vision do you have, as far as golf, being a visually impaired golfer, or a blind golfer. If you're totally blind, well, that's pretty straightforward. But even then, there's some routines or some things that totally blind people have become accustomed to that maybe others haven't, and still do things differently. But when it's the in between level of vision that can be tricky, and mine kind of changes, a little bit each day, kind of fluctuates. So it's like, what vision do I have today? And then communicating it with, whoever may be assisting me that day. It's not so much a barrier, but it's exhausting though, the routine, because it's not just playing golf, but the whole process of getting there and allowing enough time to kind of recover from just getting there to the golf course sometimes can be an issue for someone who's blind or visually impaired, or is unable to drive, and has to use means that you need some time to regroup from that, and then focus on golf. So that would be the kind of the challenge that I would bring up.
Awesome, thank you, Megan. So, Ann, what do you think? What was the best advice, or not advice, piece of gear or equipment that you would recommend to our viewers, or not recommend, but share with our viewers?
Well, as Megan, I'm going to follow up a little bit on what Megan said. My vision also changes. With me, it changes depending upon how bright it is. If it's very, very bright out, I can't see a thing. So then I can't, if I had, depending on the handle of the golf club, I wouldn't know whether my club is facing in the right direction. So at the PGA Superstore, they were kind enough to add these handles to my clubs that have a flat side and a rib, so that I know that I know my club is facing the right way. Without that, forget it. I'd be lost.
Yes. Oh, that's really neat. Because yeah, if you're facing to the right and it's going right in the woods, you can hit a great shot in the woods. Yeah. No, that makes sense. How about yourself, Megan? Is there a gear or a piece of equipment that you've enjoyed in your quest to play golf more?
Well, I really use the same as Ann. I to make a general comment, is really, I say crazy, but it's really cool, some of the different things as far as adaptive golf in general is concerned, because adaptations come in all shapes, sizes, for different reasons, for mobility, etc. From golf carts you can stand on and hit the golf ball, to golf clubs adjusted to somebody with one arm. You know, they can see and follow what someone might be showing them. You know, but maybe adjust the equipment. For us, it's more of a matter of, now there may be multiple issues, you know. I would say I feel safe and same for Anna and myself, and a lot of the visually impaired people that we've have run into, that we play with or tried to get into the game. Is more of a, there may be some adjustments to the equipment, like the rib or the ridge that Ann mentioned. I have to give credit to Jack Adams for that. He's master club fitter now for PGA, but he's also a master club builder. I mean, a lot of people have gone to him, and he kind of that, and he too adjusted my clubs with the same grip to ridge, which is acceptable in the United States Blind Golf Association, and I think regular PGA tours. It's an acceptable adaptation for the sake of lining up the club. Now, it still doesn't help you line up to your target necessarily. It helps you square up to the ball and make sure you're holding the club right. But that's where the coach comes in, as far as determine, you know, where you want to aim. Because sometimes where you think you might want to aim might not necessarily be exactly, you know, where you want to aim. There might be a hazard or something that you can't see in between, you know, that you want to aim, you go a little left or right of. And so.
Awesome. So I know y'all have met some pretty cool ladies out there. What's like when it comes to like famous or people that are in the golf business? Can you both share? Maybe Ann first. Who's the most famous golfer that you've met in your playing journey?
Well, I have to give a shout out to Greg Hooper. I mean, I don't know how famous he is.
No, I know him. Yeah, I know of him.
In our world, he is famous, and I learned so much from him. I mean, like if I could get, you know, this much of what he knows,
right?
And he is not only a great golfer, but he's a great coach, because he knows what he needs to tell me in order to improve my shot. Every time I work with him, my game just improves tremendously. So I always look for opportunities to get out on the golf course with Hooper.
That's awesome. Where is he located? I've heard his name mentioned quite a bit. Is he?
You probably know, right?
Megan, do you know where Greg Hooper?
Yeah, he's in Marietta. He plays out of Marietta Country, not City Club Marietta.
City Club. Okay, gotcha. How about yourself, Megan? Is there anybody like Nancy Lopez or somebody like that you played with that you can share with our viewers?
This room, I thought as long. Oh, there we go. I thought it was the light went out. Now it came back on. But it's funny you mentioned Nancy Lopez, because she is definitely one of my idols. I'm hoping to maybe have a chance to meet her at some point. I know she, shows up in Atlanta sometimes. I know David Windsor is trying to get her to maybe come to a clinic or help out sometime, or when she's in the area. But anyway, she's one that I enjoyed watching growing up, and actually had a set of Nancy Lopez clubs that were adapted.
Cool.
Students in the irons. I have a different driver now, but and I have to say another. I mean, a lot of golfers growing up, but one of my favorite golfers I got to meet growing up that I just, he just because he was very kind, and I'll always remember a couple of interactions with him. But he was a gentleman named Lee Elder.
Oh yeah,
American golfer. He's still alive. Though no, doesn't play. I don't believe anymore. I mean, he was on the senior tour when I met him. And just a wonderful guy, and would stop and have a conversation with me when he, one time when we kind of ran into him after his round, and we were sort of in the, the clubhouse area, I guess. I used to volunteer for golf tournaments growing up. Some of the local ones that they used to have. And there was a senior tournament that we used to volunteer for. And by we, I mean my family, my dad and mother, sister, and I. And he just walked up to me one day because he remember meeting me before, and said, "Hi, Megan, how do you do?" And he gave me, I think I got a couple of signed golf balls from him and a couple of signatures.
Well, behind me there, I don't have Lee Elder, but I have a lot of good ones. But yeah, you remember the people that are really nice to you and cordial, friendly. And, I was in a tournament with him, but I never met him. But I had a similar experience with Arnold Palmer in a senior tournament when he was at, just engaging, talking, just like he was, one of the guys. Yeah. So what about courses? Is there a favorite course in the Atlanta area or even outside of Atlanta that y'all like? And I'll go to Ann first.
Well, I don't, since I'm fairly new to the game. I mean, I only started, 4 or 5 years ago, about 5 years ago. But then you subtract, a year or two for the pandemic where we didn't play. Yep. I don't have a whole lot of experience with different courses. I mainly play City Club Marietta, and I've been for a tournament at a local, gosh, I forgot where it is, the Vision Rehabilitation Services.
Pine Tree.
What was it?
Pine Tree Country
Club. Pine Tree. Thank you. Yeah, Pine Tree. That was a nice experience going there. Lovely course. Really, really nice.
Yes.
So,
Pine Tree is of course, that's where I play, but yeah, the greens there are awesome, and it's challenging, and it's just, of course, there's a lot of good courses, but you have to be hitting the ball at the right place at Pine Tree, and you can make a double bogey just by, making a slight mistake, being at the wrong place, but that's a good one. How about yourself, Megan? Is there a favorite for you?
Well, I do like Pine Tree myself, not to brown nose, but it is nice. It's just the way that it's set up. I really noticed the difference compared to other places that I've either played or have been to for one reason or another, as far as just how it's designed. But there is that level of difficulty there too, as well, that makes it appealing or challenging as well to a golfer. But I like City Club Marietta because they're always very accommodating there. I too have not had the opportunity recently to visit a lot of different courses. Transportation being an issue. One course that I would love to see. I've had some limited experience with Bobby Jones. And, I hear great things about them. I'd like to visit Bobby Jones a little bit more and become more familiar with that course as well. But again, it's communicating with people and trying to work it out to where one way or another you can connect with the coach and get to a course that's appropriately located, for both of you. That at least one or both of you is familiar with, or has some kind of connection with, so you kind of have a sense of the layout or how to do things when you get there. But and so that's
okay. Awesome. I'll give a shout out to Nancy Lopez because I met her. Her girls played softball, and she's from Albany. So during some traveling days, we would run across her. So maybe we'll do a shout out and see if we can get her on the show or get her in town to do a night clinic. So yes. So Nancy, here's two ladies here that you could certainly come visit in Atlanta or Kennesaw to be exact.
Or you could do a virtual conversation with sometime if
yes. Yeah.
I
played a couple of her courses down at the Villages. She has, well, I know she has one down there. I think she did a par 3 down there too, but she's a wonderful person.
Hey.
Yeah. Not that we're best buds, but you know, when you meet somebody, you can tell if somebody is just open, you know, just nice versus just going through the motions. So that's good. So here's a question. Is there somebody, okay, we've announced like locally that you think would be good guests? If you could pluck somebody out of the local scene and we can invite them, who would that be, Ann? Is there somebody on your mind that you had mentioned Hooper? Is there somebody that we can maybe bring on the show and that would be good guest for us?
Golly, I need to think about that.
Okay.
Maybe Karen
Cooper.
Karen Cooper.
Oh, really?
She's yes, great golfer, great person, very energetic. I think she would make a great guest.
Awesome.
She's also a member of the adaptive golf program.
Wow, that's so good. Okay, Megan, is there anybody on your mind?
Well, definitely Greg Hooper would be a great one. He is the president of the United States Blind Golf Association.
Okay.
And Karen Cooper is a great coach. She does a lot with the veterans program as well. But also helps us, the blind and visually impaired golf and the other adaptive golf efforts as well. Of course, David Winsler, I believe you've had him, but he's always one to have. And Yuri and maybe even Jack Adams from the PGA Tour would be great people maybe to have on together because they work together. Those are definitely some.
Okay, that's two good ones. I know we when we had last week, I think Yuri was tied up, and so I just said we'll do a return visit, and I failed to reach out to her, but she said she wants to be on the show, so we'll get her on there because we're talking girl power,
That girl power would be great. Another one may even be her name is Ket. She's of Matt Vanderpool, and I don't know if she goes by Vanderpool or keeps. She is Thai, I believe, her nationality. But Matt Vanderpool works for the GSGA. Ket is her wife, and Ket is his wife. Excuse me, and she is the coach of Georgia State golf team.
Oh, really? Oh, man. I know Matt. So I didn't realize that there was a connection there. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, Matt said we were going to have him on. Actually, there's another gentleman that was looking forward to being on the show with Matt. So we're going to put them together or try to do it. People's busy schedule, but that's awesome. Thank you so much, Megan. So parting thoughts. So somebody's visually impaired out there. Let's speak to that. So, Ann, what advice would you share with a person that's thinking about golf and maybe they have some vision issues? What would you say to them?
Just do it. Just get over your fear. Where it's a great friendly, really nice people involved, and the coaches. Put your trust in the coaches. If you can't trust yourself, trust the coaches.
Great.
And the final, I love this though. They gave the first time I was out on the golf course, they gave us T-shirts that say, "You don't need to see it to tee it."
Oh, cool! I love that.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, good advice there, Ann. Thank you. And Megan, what advice could you share with our listeners about being on the fence and and deciding whether golf is possible for them?
Golf is a very adaptable sport. You don't have to see it to tee it. The USPGA slogan is very, very cool and very true. Again, I alluded to earlier, there's so many different ways to adapt to golf, from just how you approach with someone that you're working with, to literal physical, adjustments to equipment. So if you have a desire to even try to play, then there's a way to do it.
Awesome.
It takes a little bit of time, but to kind of figure out the best way. But golf is, it's cool because it can be like a good pair of shoes or a good golf glove. It can be fit to, be custom made to each player. And now, people, sighted or not, or any challenge or not, come in different, shapes, sizes, energy levels, etc. So being able to play, it still may or may not be the game for you if you appreciate a faster pace, kind of environment. But the cool thing about golf is, the reason why I like it is because what happens with the ball is a direct result of, what you do. The ball is waiting on you to hit it.
Absolutely.
And, it's not responding to a moving target. And so, there's a certain amount of pace at the same time, but you kind of, set it yourself. And so that's, that's what I think is cool about golf. Once you try it.
And too, Megan, it's like being outdoors, there's nothing like it. So you're able to be there with nature, and, who cares about your score, but both of you are an inspiration to the people out there that think, oh, I've got to have everything perfect to play. No, you don't. You just have to do it, like Ann said. And it makes a difference if you just take action and do it. You may love it, and you may be like both of them, out there playing and enjoying the outdoors. And, it's certainly challenging. So whether it doesn't matter how you play, and it's just that we always strive to get better, and not always, but it's a game that you can never say, well, I've mastered it. I can go on to another sport. So, but I want to really thank both of you for sharing with our listeners the opportunities to play, and encourage the ladies out there that, it's a wonderful sport, and it's not that hard if you just do it and just learn. And you're right about coaches. Definitely, there's some wonderful coaches out there, and they're wanting to help. And that's one of the main things. We're going to put in the show notes some links. So for our viewers that want to get a hold of Ann or Megan, we'll put the association link on there too, so you can at least know how to reach out and connect with them. And that'll give you an opportunity to maybe ask them some questions. I know there's probably a few that you thought, well, what about this? And we didn't cover it on the podcast, but you can, because we'll make their information available. So thank you so much to the both of you for taking time out of your schedule to join us on Pete's Epic Golf Podcast. And this has been Golfer Pete. And thank you, Ann. Thank you, Megan. Any parting advice? You have 5 seconds to say something. Anything?
I look forward to seeing you out on the links.
Awesome. Thank
all
you.
Y'all out there, and you, Golfer Pete.
Awesome. Thank you. And Megan, how about yourself?
See you on the golf course.
That's
for having us.
Awesome. Glad to have you. All right. Thank you so much.